All right. What's up, you guys? We're back with some more college football picks this week. It's week 11. I can't believe we're here already. Got a few more weeks to go, but this is Beat the Odds College Football Edition on Odds Checker. Before we get started, guys, per usual, how are we? How did we do?
Well, I'm great. I'm excited because we logged on and we're wearing the same shirt today. So
They say it wasn't
Jason.
planned, but
It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned.
No,
And you saw
no
it,
planning whatsoever.
You saw the laughs that went into it when Jason logged onto the call. So not planned. This has been a good lift because in the betting department, I have not been doing very well. I was 2-5 last week. I have fallen to 4-7 on my picks of the week, and I am just a game over 500 right now, 34-33 overall. Longtime listeners will remember that I was like 10-ish games over 500 like a month ago. So I need to turn it around. Fortunately, we have some time.
Very Iowa Hawkeyes like fall from grace. Meanwhile, 500 week for me, but still 38-29. So flying high, not as high as Katelyn, of course. Katelyn, did you suffer a loss this week?
I did. And you know what? Alex and I were just talking about this. I was like, there was too much hype. I knew from last week's video, I should not have chosen Ohio State, but I went for it. That's okay, guys. It was a good run. We're back. And yeah, this week I think I'll pull it together. But anyways, let's
adversity.
Let's get started into this week's picks. And as always, we'll do our picks of the week at the end of this video. Guys, what do you have for us this week?
Starting with some Tuesday night action for me, Ohio and Eastern Michigan. I'm going over 60.5 in this game. Ohio is really, really bad, but that is mainly because they can't stop anybody, not because they can't score themselves. They have been at least 26 in each of their last 5, and they've scored 35 in their most recent game against Miami of Ohio, which actually has one of the better defenses in the MAC, which might be damning them with faint praise, but is nonetheless an achievement. Eastern Michigan can score, can't really play defense either. I just think that these are two teams that move the ball too well and do not stop teams well enough for the total to be this low. I think it should be more in the mid-60s. So let's try to profit off that.
I'm going to join you on some weeknight MAC action. Give me Akron plus 26 against Western Michigan. This is one of the country's worst teams against one of the MAC's best teams, but that's a lot of points. I think more like 21 would be a little bit of a fairer line. It's also in our favor. The Akron play is just real slow. Just no ambitions on offense. We love it. They can actually throw the ball a tiny bit whenever they get around to. Western Michigan's given up a few big passing plays on the year. Also, WMU, bit kind of rough for the last month, whereas Akron just had their best game all year. And it is a short week for WMU, which played on Wednesday. This is the time of year where you have to factor such things as, they played because the MAC's just like that.
I thought about making that exact pick. I chickened out because I've lost some bets on some really bad teams this year, but I like where your head's at. Oklahoma and Baylor for me this week. I'm on Baylor plus 6.5. Oklahoma has played with fire, played with its food a lot this season against teams a lot worse than Baylor and gotten away with it. I do not think that Oklahoma's defense can play both the run and the pass effectively in the same game, and I especially don't think it's going to happen against Baylor with Gary Bohannon throwing it and Abram Smith running it. I think that there is a really decent chance that Baylor wins this game outright, and the magic carpet ride takes on some turbulence for Oklahoma. It just feels like they're due to get got, and almost a touchdown is just too many points for me not to take the home underdog Baylor Bears.
There's a Big 12 team here, kind of, and it does involve the state of Texas. Give me UCF plus 7 and a future Big 12 team, of course, against SMU. I think that line's about a field too big. UCF's process, SMU faces. SMU, lots of points on both sides of the ball, and UCF, maybe they know that together some offense. They're just going to run the ball. That's pretty much it. So yeah, SMU a little bit of a stumble, and I think UCF can keep it close.
Fair enough. Texas A&M and Ole Miss in the SEC, where it just means more for me. I'm under 55.5 in this game. Ole Miss's offense, Ole Miss is known as this kind of all offense, no defense team. And I think that is true to a point, but it has not been true against teams like A&M that have really good defenses. Ole Miss did not move the ball well against Alabama, didn't move it well against Auburn. A&M has a defense that is very much on that level of that caliber. Also does not allow a lot in the QB run game, which is a big problem for Ole Miss, given how much they rely on Matt Corral carrying the ball. Also, the Ole Miss defense, not as bad as you think against non-elite offenses, which also very much applies to Texas A&M. So I like the under.
Nice. We love the under. Under's been strong for the last few weeks. Give me Coastal Carolina -10 against Georgia State. Yes, Coastal's without Grayson McCall, but Bryce Carper's perfectly capable of running that option offense. I think my math is right here. They have covered in their 2 games with McCall injuries going on at the time, I believe. And then, State gives up a ton of big plays, and Coastal scores a ton of big plays. So if Coastal gets up quickly, then State is forced to. So 10 points, not scary, even despite the quarterback injury.
Wise, shrewd, prudent, in my opinion. I'm sticking with unders here again. North Carolina and Pitt, this is a Thursday nighter, under 75. I thought about this. It's a little bit of a risk. Both teams are, well, every bet in college football is a bit of a risk, but both of these teams have gotten a lot of overs this year. Pitt is 7-2, UNC is 6-3, overs in their games. But I just think this number is a little teensy bit too high, mainly because Pitt's defense is really, really good. I think UNC's offense is exceptional, but has been stopped by defenses that are a lot worse than Pitt's. I'm looking at Virginia Tech. I'm looking at Georgia Tech. It's a weird weeknight game. There's some rain in the forecast in Pittsburgh. Heinz Field becomes a very sloppy track in November. I also think UNC doesn't stop the run very well. It could encourage Pitt to air it out a little bit less, keep the clock moving in this game. I don't think it's a defensive struggle, but I think 75 is a lot, so I'm under.
Nice. Let me go with FAU +1.5 against Old Dominion. Kind of a slightly confusing line to me. I thought that this would come in a good bit large. Old Dominion has won a couple games in a row, and we might be making too much of a fairly successful quarterback change for them. I just look at ODU is terrible on the year, and FAU is merely kind of bad and sometimes decent. So the touchdown-ish spread on the road sounds about right to me. I think 6.5 is my number to cover there.
Deal. Katelyn, pick of the week time?
All right, well, it's that time of the video. Kind of like what I said earlier, it was a good run. So, we made a little bit of a mistake last week, but I'm going to roll with what I know. So I'm rolling with the Tide this week.
Oh,
but 51.5 is a large number. That's a lot to win by, especially for Alabama. Even though they're playing New Mexico State, Alabama has really been starting off sloppy this entire, past few games, especially at LSU game last week. Started off sloppy. In order to win by 51.5 points or more, they need to not start off sloppy, and they need to, not miss opportunities to score early. So I'm taking New Mexico State plus 51.5 this week.
Wow.
Love it.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Katelyn is picking against Alabama, and she is putting her money behind New Mexico State with a number that big. I absolutely love it. I'm so happy.
That's a big number. We love the big number, and that's the biggest number you'll find.
I love the big numbers. Yeah.
I think Jason and I are on the same game here. Jason got it at a better number than me. It's Nevada and San Diego State. San Diego State -1 for me. I think Jason has it at a pick'em. I'll keep it simple. San Diego State's better. They have one of the best defenses in college football, and they have the best field position weapon in the sport right now in Matt Araiza, who is their punter, who is having what I believe, if he finishes on the pace he has been on so far, going to have what is the best punting season in football history, not college football history, but football history. And Nevada can throw the ball a bit, but I don't think they're good enough to win this game. So I like San Diego State.
Yep, concur all around. I like that we happened to settle on the same Mountain West team as our pick of the week and happened to show up sporting the same Mountain West shirt, Mountain West mindset all around. I want to point out Nevada ranks number 128 efficiency stat. This is the biggest, this is almost literally the most lopsided punter battle possible based on just that stat. And Nevada, the other thing is the Wolfpack. They don't run the ball. They just straight up don't run the ball. Just the 3 and outs. This game might have 2 points total. That's perfect. We love it.
All right. Well, that's the end of this video for Week 11, Beat the Odds College Football Edition on Odds Checker. Let's have a great weekend, guys, and happy betting. We'll see you guys next week.